73% of millennials are living paycheck to paycheck. So imagine nearly 3 out of 4 young adults, maybe like yourselves, are stuck in a cycle where we're merely working to survive instead of actually having enough money to fully enjoy our lives. So you might be thinking, if you're in this trap, then how can you, regardless of age, start to build your wealth, especially in your 20s? So I know that many of you guys have aspirations to get really rich in your 20s, but now let's be real. It's not gonna happen magically without a lot of effort and planning. So today I'm gonna share with you the 7 crucial steps to help me become rich and financially free while I was still in my 20s. So it all starts with number 1, fixing your mindset. The first thing that you need to do is realize that you may have been trained to have a scarcity mindset and believe that you can't make it and can't be rich. So in fact, I have thousands of comments all across my videos from people who bash on the topics that I present, and all because they believe that what I'm saying is impossible and can't happen. When in reality, a lot of things that I talk about on my channel are things that I've actually done myself. And because of this negative mindset, others are instantly writing them off without thinking about it or trying these things themselves. So step number 1 is to fix your mindset. And one really great way to do that is by reading some great books to help enlarge your thinking. So some of my favorite books to do that is Thinking Big and Small, which teaches you how to have an abundance mindset. Or even books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, which teaches you how money actually works. So you also want to start surrounding yourself with higher thinking people and not getting bogged down by any negativity from your peers or even from your family. So if you're in a group that's always negative and you feel like you're just a bunch of crabs in a bucket holding each other down, try to get out of that friend group and try to make new friends who are more into bigger thinking. And your own family may even be a source of this scarcity mindset. And even if it's not like insidious, they'll tell you not to pursue anything higher because they want you to have a stable job and not risk anything. So they want to make sure that you're safe and they're going to just keep you in your safe little crib. But if you want to grow as a human, then you actually have to get out of your crib and actually start exploring the world yourself. So just because your parents want what's best for you, you don't always have to listen to them. So as an example, when I was first getting started, my mom told me not to try starting a business and just focus on my full-time job. She just didn't want me to get in trouble with my bosses and wanted me to have a stable, normal life. And she loved me and she was just protecting me the best way she could. But that protection was keeping me from growing and seeing my full potential. But because I believed in myself and I had a positive mindset, I was able to break out of the trap and look into different ways to earn more money. Step number 2 is to actually get a high-paying job. Now, I know a lot of people on social media are saying that they don't want to go to college and they don't want to work a job because they just want to be entrepreneurs. But in reality, one of the best places to start is by having a good source of income. By having excess income, it allows you to save and use that money to then start working on other businesses. But without a good source of income, it's going to be very hard to try to start a side business when you're starving every day and you don't even know where your next meal is going to come from. And it's going to be really hard for you to have higher thinking and be able to work out a profitable business if you're always worried about making ends meet. So having a high-paying job that gives you enough to budget and invest and also work on your side businesses, it's kind of like being on a boat with a fancy motor attached to it versus being on a boat with a big fat hole in it. The one with the motor is going to be able to go anywhere really fast and efficiently. Whereas if you have the one with the big hole in it, you're going to be spending most of your time getting water out of the boat before you can even go anywhere. Now, of course, it may be possible to use that boat to get to another island, but it's going to take you far longer and a lot harder to do so. Now, one thing to note is that if you have a high-paying job, make sure it's a job that also gives you enough time to do things outside of work. Otherwise, you're going to end up being at that job forever. So a good example of this is working as an engineer. It's a pretty laid-back job, it's very chill, but it pays a lot of money. On the other hand, a bad example is working as a doctor or a lawyer. Because as a doctor or a lawyer, you're gonna be working 90+ hours a week at a job and you're gonna be so tired and drained of energy that you're not even gonna be thinking about making any kind of side business. And also, even though you're making a lot of money at your job, don't get too comfortable there. It's supposed to be a stepping stone for you to get a good start. Step number 3 to getting rich in your 20s is to learn how to manage your finances. Because there's no point in making more money if you end up spending it all as you go. Now, I've heard of people who are making over $250,000 every single year, but they have less than $100,000 in savings. Why? Because they're spending all the time on things like going out, leasing nice cars, renting the most expensive place or apartment in their area, and being generally bad at saving money. So it's not about just the income you're making, it's also about having good saving and investing habits as well. A good way to start that is by practicing delayed gratification, where instead of buying something immediately when you want it, you take your time and you evaluate if this is something that will actually improve your life over 6 months. Because when you buy something, you may be happy for the next 5 minutes, but think if this is something that you're really gonna get joy from over a long time. You also wanna make sure that you're not continuously upgrading your lifestyle as you get more money. So for example, when you get a raise, don't suddenly buy a nicer car or start buying a nicer home. Stay humble and continue living your current lifestyle for as long as you can. And as your income increases, you're gonna be able to save more and more and more. Now, you can also find ways to lower your cost of living expenses by having roommates or even by house hacking. I did this when I first moved to the Bay Area and I was able to rent out my home to several of my friends. And by the end of it, my tenant's rent covered all of my home expenses. So we keep our expenses low. I still drive a Corolla because it's affordable but very reliable. We also live in a very reasonably priced home. Our main expenses are buying takeout food every day. But I feel like that's a lot less than spending a fortune on buying new cars and new homes every time we make more money. So step number 4 to getting rich in your 20s is to start a side hustle that has the potential to become a full-time business. So it all starts with the idea. So make sure that your side hustle has the right potential from the beginning. So what does that mean exactly? It means that the business you start shouldn't require you to put more time and energy into it to scale. As an example, a business that can't really scale is doing garage sales, because there's only so much stuff you can sell from your garage and how many people are actually going to be buying it. You can't just get more stuff and host more garage sales and expect to make a ton more money. Another example of bad side hustles are consulting, freelancing, and gig work. So those aren't really good because if you have more consulting clients, then you need to spend more of your own time handling these clients. If you're freelancing, like writing essays or drawing photos yourself, then again, you can't really scale because there's only so many essays and drawings that you can make. Now, of course, all this can change if you can create a team, hire them out to do the consulting and freelancing on your behalf, but those are more complicated businesses than the one that I'm going to go over next. So in my opinion, an ideal business is one that can scale without putting more time into growing it or needing to hire a bigger team. So one example of this is selling physical products online. You can buy products from China and Alibaba and ship them to an Amazon warehouse and list them on Amazon, so when people go online and shop, Amazon handles the distribution for you. But the downside to that business is that you have to deal with quality control, price changes, and unfortunately paying for any unsold inventory. So one of my favorite businesses is actually selling digital products. So as an example, we have digital products like our property analysis calculator and our real estate courses that we can sell to our students who want to learn more from us, but we don't have to spend any more time on it because we put our efforts into creating the course in the first place. And we don't have to worry about any unsold inventory or needing to hire more people to run our business. Now, step number 5 is to invest your money and stay disciplined. But before you invest, you need to educate yourself on the different types of investments as well as the risk associated with them. Otherwise, you can end up buying something due to hype and FOMO and then lose a lot because you didn't understand what you bought. So as an example, a lot of people were buying all kinds of cryptocurrencies in 2021 without really knowing what they did or the value they had in them. They were buying NFTs, ugly monkeys, thinking that the price would always go up, and they would buy meme stocks like AMC and GameStop just because everyone was going to the moon. So instead of following these social trends, learn fundamental investing strategies and you're gonna be good to go. A good example of that is by buying solid index funds and holding onto them for a very long time. You should also learn how to diversify your investments so you're not overexposed. Don't put everything into one stock or into one asset type like cryptocurrencies or NFTs. You want to spread everything out. So for us, we have investments in different index funds, we have investments in individual stocks, and we also own a portfolio of rental properties, not even just one market, but in different markets. And if you're working, I highly recommend opening up a Roth 401k and a Roth IRA if you can. Having a Roth retirement account is one of the largest wealth generators out there because these are tax advantage accounts. You put in post-tax dollars into it, but once they're inside, they grow tax-free. And when you pull it out, you don't need to pay taxes on any of the gains either. Now, another thing about investing is to look into passive income streams, such as purchasing real estate, because you can buy them with just 20% down, but you get to keep all of the profits. Now, step number 6 to getting rich in your 20s is to join different communities. Find communities that are focused on your business and learn from people who are already doing what you want to do. Now, there are people out there who are just way better at you at your business, but are very happy to share their different strategies that you can implement. At this time, you can even look into coaching or mentorship programs if you think that it can get you to the next level. Now, obviously, don't go broke trying to do this, but if you do find somebody who's legitimate and has a good track record, don't be afraid to put some money into it. It's like investing in yourself. So for us, we love paying to go to conferences, and we're able to get into some very special rooms where we've learned different business techniques that really changed the game for us. And another thing that I did when I was first getting started was hosting a podcast, and I was able to get these top real estate investors on my show, and I got some amazing free one-on-one consulting with them. And it's a very easy hack to get all of your questions answered by experts in your field. And step number 7 is just to start. One of the biggest issues that most people have is procrastination or perfectionism. They can read all of the books they want and have a general understanding of how a business works, but they're not going to start because they don't have the guts to actually try it. So don't be afraid to take risks and fail, because if you make these mistakes, you're going to learn a lesson and you're going to come out stronger from it. Don't be the person who just stays comfortable getting a paycheck every week, because that's just going to make you addicted to the steady income and you're never going to go anywhere. One cool thing that I heard at a Tony Robbins conference was that when it comes to income, imagine being an airplane on the runway. If you just go without putting in a lot of effort, you're never going to take off. You're just going to stay on the ground. But if you put in a lot of effort, a lot of energy in one time, you're eventually going to lift off and you're going to be able to soar anywhere you want. So go ahead, put in the energy, start now, and you will be successful. So these are my tips on how to actually get rich in your 20s. Let me know if there's something that you think I should have mentioned down in the comment section below. And also let me know which part you think is the most difficult part of getting rich. And earlier I mentioned that you should have a high high-paying job if you want to get rich. But what if you're stuck at a dead-end job? If so, then check out this video on how you can become a millionaire even with a low salary. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.